Welcome to Brooke Does Yoga. My name is Brooke. Let's do some yoga together. This is a sweet and simple evening stretch/movement routine. Whether you sit all day at a desk or are on your feet all day, this is a sequence that's going to hopefully help to stretch and balance out the body from those habitual actions. As always, please feel free to customize this practice and make it your own depending on the way that your body feels today, right now, in this moment. This is sort of a springboard for you to start to create hopefully an evening movement routine that is just for you, that works for you and makes you feel wonderful. Feel free to have any props that make you feel great. That might include a blanket or two, a couple of blocks, and perhaps a pillow or a meditation cushion. We will start in a seat. So maybe sit up on your blanket or your pillow and get comfy. If a cross-legged seat feels good to you today, you can do that. A kneeling seat is fine as well. We can also use a pillow or a block or a blanket in between the feet in a kneeling position to give us a little bit less knee flexion, a little bit more height in the hips. This can be easier on the body. And we're just going to start with some hand stretches. So for the moment, just make fists and rotate the wrists out. Taking them clockwise, counterclockwise. Try to make the circles as big and comprehensive as you can, getting all of those little nooks and crannies moving. Good, and then stretch the fingers out wide and make a super tight fist. Good. And then take the hands down to the mat or the floor. It can be anywhere, either in front of you or even just to the sides of you. Plant the palms down nice and strong. Press all 10 fingertips down into your mat. And then just lift up the heel of the hand. See if you can keep the thumb sealed down to the mat. Just lifting the heel up and get a little stretch on the little finger muscles and ligaments on the underside of the hands. We can kind of roll the weight back and forth from the pinky finger towards the index finger. And you can play with even lifting up the hands a little bit more or less. You might feel a stretch on the back of the wrist here. Good. And then flip your hands over so the backs of the hands come to the mat. And press the backs of the hands down strongly. And then maybe start to bend the elbows so that the wrists are bent a little bit more. You might feel a stretch across the back of the wrist here. And breathing nice and deep. Good. Release that and just shake out the hands. Nice. All right. Now move anything that you're sitting on and simply come to the top of your mat in a forward fold. Knees can be bent here. Even if legs are straight, put a little softness in the backs of the knees so that we're utilizing the muscles more than our knee joint here. And you might find a little sway from side to side. It might feel good to bend one knee and then the other and kind of take a little side to side stretch. We might hold on to opposite elbows and just dangle here in ragdoll pose. Wherever you are, check in with your neck and release the crown of the head straight down towards the mat. We might gently nod the head yes and shake the head no. Give a little reach of your hip bones up towards the sky and let your torso waterfall out of your legs down towards the floor.
And check in with your feet. Notice the weight on your feet and see if you can even out the weight from side to side and front to back. Good, and then inhale, rise your spine all the way up and reach your hands up to the sky. Ooh, nice big stretch. And then take a little side stretch over to the right and to the left in any way that feels good to you. And the next time you're to center, take a little tiny back bend. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take a forward fold. Good. Plant your hand, step both of your feet back and find a downward facing dog. Press strongly into all 10 fingertips and lift your hips up towards the sky. Untuck your tailbone. Put a little bend in your knees and lift your low belly away from your thighs. Spread your collarbones wide and relax your heels towards the mat. A balance of strength and softness here. And then start to find some movement. Maybe rolling through the hips and the knees. This might come all the way towards the shoulders a little bit. Good, and on your next inhale, come forward towards a plank. Bend your knees to hover off the mat. Take your hips back towards your heels. Knees still hover. Lift your knees, downward dog. Forward into plank. Another circle like that. Rolling through the spine. Letting this feel good in any way that works for you today. Good, and then reverse that circle. Hover the knees. Come forward, plank. Lift the hips. And hover the knees. Couple like that. Good, we'll meet in downward dog. Walk your feet forward towards your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, lift up about halfway. Hands can come to shins. Lift your low belly away from your thighs. Reach your sit bones back and your heart forward. Exhale, round. Touch the ground and step your right foot all the way back. Bring your right knee down to your mat. And inhale for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Hands can come to the top of that left thigh. We might just stay here. We might pulse through the hips a little bit, sinking them down and then lifting up out of the legs. Good. We might take some movements through the arms here. Maybe a side stretch. Good, and then take the hands and interlace them behind the head, kind of at the base of the skull. Press your hands into your head and press your head back into your hands. And then widen your elbows out towards the sides. Good. Start to take some little side bends, right and left. And again, we can play with this. Lowering the hips down, lifting the hips up, and everywhere in between. Good. Inhale to reach the hands high. Exhale, take the hands down to the inside of your front foot and walk your front foot off towards the side. That should be towards the left side of your mat. We might grab a block here to set underneath our hands for lizard pose. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee and wiggle that leg a little bit further back, almost like you're going to do the splits. And then set the knee back down. We can stay right here in lizard pose. We might come onto the outside of this left foot That's a little bit of a different hip stretch. We might keep the sole of the foot on the floor. Option 2, plant your right hand, maybe on a block, and take your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Slide the skin of your thigh forward and take a twist. Nice deep breaths here. Option to stay here in the twist or in any earlier version of this pose. Option to bend your right knee and pull your heel in towards your butt and then reach your left hand back to maybe grab that right foot. If they meet together, kick your right foot into your hand and pull your hand into your foot. And then let that traction open your heart towards the sky. Exhale, release. Come back to center. Set your block off to the side if you had it. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Walk your front foot more towards the center of your mat. And then walk your hands towards the long edge of your mat to take a wide-legged forward fold. Check in with your feet and make sure the outer edges of the feet are parallel with the short edge of your mat. Bend in the knees here is totally okay. Just a little forward fold here, Prasarada. Shifting the weight slightly forward in your feet, more towards the ball of the foot. Now heel toe your feet closer together with the heels in and the toes out. Deeply bend your knees and lift your torso for a goddess pose squat here. And we can keep the hands on the thighs. We might bring the hands to the heart. And check in and make sure the spine is nice and tall and long. We might do a little sway from side to side. And then we'll find center wherever we are. We can also float the arms up if we want some extra chest stretch. Make little cactus arms, pressing the elbows forward and the hands back. Or again, hands at heart, hands on thighs. Plenty of options. Wherever you are, we're going to start to take some little squats up and down through the legs. Good. Just a couple. Hands come to thighs. And a little twist. So press into your right hand. Drop your right shoulder towards the center. Elongate the space between your right hip and your right shoulder blade. Inhale, center. Exhale, second side. And one more on each side here. Inhale, center. Good. Straighten the legs and turn your feet so that all 10 toes point towards the long edge of your mat. Lift up through your low belly, hinge at your hips, and forward fold. Walk your hands towards the back of your mat, towards your right foot, and find your low lunge, now facing towards the back of your mat. Rise up into Anjaneyasana, maybe hands on thighs, maybe some pulses through the hips. Arms might move. Now take the hands together behind the back, either holding opposite elbows or clasping the hands, pressing the palms together and reaching the elbows towards each other. If that feels pretty good, maybe we start to extend the hands down the back leg. Good. Strengthen your front foot and lift your heart towards the sky. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, take your hands down to the inside of your front foot and heel toe your right foot off towards the right side of your mat. We might find that block again here under the hands. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, and wiggle it back a tiny bit, and then set the knee back down for lizard pose. We can stay right here, nice and straight, growing the spine long out of the hips. We might plant the left hand and take the right hand to the top of the right thigh, once again taking that twist. We might bend the left knee and reach back for that left foot. Maybe we reach it, maybe we don't. That's okay. If hand and foot meet together, kick the foot into the hand and let the traction open your heart. Good. Exhale, gently release and come back to center. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Move your block if you have it, and walk your foot to the center of your hands. And then right back the way we came through our wide-legged forward fold, all the way back to the top of the mat. Good. Set the knee down. Take your front foot all the way back. And then swing your feet to one side and just find yourself on your back. Just a gentle core toning here. Bring your knees right over your hips with your legs at about a 90-degree angle. And then take your hands and place them right on top of your shins, sort of at the bottoms of your knees. Press your hands into your shins and press your shins back into your hands. You'll probably feel your low back start to root down into your mat. Good, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your arms wide and drop both knees over towards the right. Let the chest fall open. Let the knees relax down towards the floor. Start to release any tension that is still held in the body. And then on your next inhale, gently float your knees back to center. And exhale, drop them both over towards the left. Letting your heart melt open. Relax the muscles of the face. Relax the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. And inhale, bring the knees back to center. From here, you're welcome to take a Shavasana by stretching your legs out long and taking a few more moments in a quiet rest. Or if your practice is done for today, find a gentle way to come back up to a seat.
Thank yourself for making time for your body this evening. Thank you for practicing with me. I'll see you next time.